from the Salvation Army National Headquarters,
This is the Fight for Good podcast.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Fight for Good podcast. I'm your host, Lieutenant Colonel Tim Foley. I'm currently the editor-in-chief of National Publications here in Alexandria, Virginia. Joining me today are two of our wonderful staff members. Could you introduce yourself?
I'm Jeff McDonald, editorial director.
And?
I'm Michele Katsaris, assistant to the editorial director.
So just to let you know, let our listening audience know, we are doing something different today. We're in a new location with a live studio audience. How exciting is that? That's very exciting, isn't it?
We love that.
We're usually stuck in some little closet someplace. It's musty. We had to, last time we turned off the ventilation system to your office, and it caused a smoky fire somewhere in the building, and I got in trouble for that. But anyways, because I'm related to somebody who's takes care of building stuff around here. But that's another thing. So we're here in the chapel. So we're going to ask our house guests today to behave themselves. Please, no cursing and no snoring. We ask those two things. We are actually doing Facebook Live right now. So we say hi to everybody on Facebook. And, you know, Paul, just show everybody else. And we want you to highlight anybody that's asleep in particular. And we'll tag their name a little bit. Well, we're doing a very special version of our brand new Fight for Good podcast to inform all of the employees and officers of a national headquarters that we exist. We are doing other things than just sitting around and, you know, picking lint from our belly buttons and editing lots of boring text and all of that kind of stuff. We're doing stuff, and we're making this podcast. So what do you think about it so far, Jeff? Remember, I've already done your evaluation, so we're all good on
in
that.
Case.
So
yeah, no, it's great to be a part of it, and you know, we deal with such wonderful material. This just gives us another outlet to explore further the content that we handle. You know, I think about the Army's sacramentalism in that the Army believes that life itself is sacramental. Everyday life is. It's infused with the sacred, and we are to infuse it with the sacred. So this gives us a further chance to do that.
And one of the things about our mission in publications is that we are to tell the story. We kind of go a little deeper into the stories of what is happening with the Salvation Army across the nation. We're watching with a great, a little bit of, I don't want to say anxiety, but certainly with concern this morning as Hurricane Dorian has done its devastation over Bermuda, and we'll be hearing more and more about the Salvation Army's ongoing relief efforts there as it works its way up the coast, and it's hitting South Carolina right now and causing flooding and tornadoes and things like that. But we know the Salvation Army's on the ground there, and we're proud of them about that. And we tell a little bit about the story, but we also tell a little bit about the story after the fact, and we want to remind people of that.
It's one of the main features of the Army offers, and we respect that network of contributors who are on the ground doing the work, and we want to represent them as best we can.
So one of the things that we do here in publications, you know, at national headquarters, we're all kind of in our silos. Silos have a very important purpose. They really do have a very important purpose. And one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we're the little truck going into all these silos and digging out the information from all the departments. So that's why we're very encouraged by what's going on here at national headquarters in all of our different departments, what everybody does. Everybody has a piece to play in the work and the ministry of the Salvation Army.
We have deep respect for everyone's efforts, and we love to be a part of it. You won't find a stop sign up at National Publications.
No stop sign,
right.
But just bring us good stuff. And if you don't like what we're doing, well, tough. Then tell us about it, and we'll try to fix it. And we hope all of you are reading our magazine. We got our new magazine. The September issue of the War Cry is out. You want to say anything about that briefly?
Well, we get to portray the pathway of hope that the Army's so involved in. There's also a great interview about the depth of meaning behind money as more of a symbol, but as a means of generosity and a reflection of how we live.
And Michele, we've tasked you with some new things. You want to talk about the center part of the magazine at all? What's going on with that?
Well, because I'm a little bit younger than everyone else
What?
in the department.
She had to say that.
Do you have your retirement countdown app going? I have mine, and I revised mine today. So I have 6 years and 228 days left. My wife has 10 years and 500 and something days left. Did you see that I've messed up the math there? But anyways, all right. So talk a little bit about what's going on with that.
So we decided to start doing millennial pages without blatantly calling it the millennial pages, because it can definitely have a negative connotation to it. But just for like the younger generation to interview new people, millennial age. So you got kind of like finishing off college, going into the workforce, to 30-year-old moms. So those are kind of the people we're targeting, because with Peer being focused on even younger people, we realized that the millennial age group was just missing. So
we're trying to cultivate, not necessarily a new readership, because actually when we're tracking our information, ages 25 to 40 is right up there with the 65 and above crowd for the War Cry readership.
And if I may add, Michele did find the author, Stephanie Mae Wilson, who wrote a book called The Lipstick Gospel. And you can check out the interview we did with her on our podcast. She has a lot to say about brokenness and finding yourself.
Now, we're very excited about our podcast. We've been able to finally, we saw this morning, we want to point out Elizabeth over here. She's working all the knobs and the buttons and making us sound good. But we're very excited because we're on Spotify right now. So if you go to Spotify, you can download us. And we're about ready to get on iTunes. I think that's just still processing with them. So we hope, and we'll be at the end of this little podcast here, we'll be launching podcast number 2. It's all ready to go. So we have everything that we focused on October's issue. We also want to point out to everybody that Peer Magazine is our young magazine. It's focused on Generation Z. Our Peer team is here. Shout out for the Peer team and Captain Pam and everybody. We're very excited about it. And we've just been invited to speak at the Christian Leadership Association on Peer Magazine on what we're doing. So
Yeah.
we're gonna tell all the old Christians how it is what we're doing with the young people down there. So
Getting with it, huh?
you know, and we're probably the only magazine in the Christian world right now that is focused on the Z generation. Just be proud of that. And people kind of complain sometimes, to you and I, Jeff, on some things, and they go, "Oh, the print is too small in this," and I'm like, well. It's not for you. If you've got silver hair or no hair, or you're wearing glasses this thick as mine, it's not for you. But that's okay. Don't be offended by that, because we got enough stuff in this magazine that is for you. And we're very excited, too, because we have a new feature, our spiritual formation page.
Yep.
And we had a letter come in today. You want to talk about that?
Well, someone thought that content in that spiritual formation page would make a great vehicle as a tract and could be used in place of a tract to introduce people to the gospel.
And
in a new way.
I like to tell people that's how I came to Jesus Christ, was through a gospel tract. And so the actual written word is very, very important to me. And I'm asking the question as I go around the country and meeting people, what are you doing with the War Cry, instead of just letting it set in the lobby or throw it away at the end of the month? And so we're trying to get the magazine physically out on the streets once again in the Salvation Army. So we have that going on, but we don't want to spend all day. This is going to be a short broadcast. I told Sharon, well, we usually are 60 minutes. We were thinking maybe 30 minutes, and she just went, oh, what? I said, what? Is that going to interfere with the snacks? And then she said, there's no snacks at this meeting. I'm like, oh, well, I guess we should have brought snacks. But we do want to talk something about the September issue of the War Cry has a little online test. There's a little online test. And this is another thing that we've rolled out, is a new look to the War Cry. So we encourage our studio audience, all the employees, to go to thewarcry.org right now on your phones. Bring it up. You can go check your email too, whatever you want to do, if you want to surf some other place or check your sports scores. But come up this and take this little quiz. Real quick. It's just a real quick quiz, right? You took the quiz.
I did.
And what did you get?
I think it was 50%.
50%.
Well, I should say 100.
Wow. You
Yeah.
should say 100. But
Yeah.
did you take the test?
No, I didn't even know there was one.
See? See? That's why we have to point
See,
out.
talk about silos.
All right. Well, what do you remember about going back to school? Because this is back to school time of year. Traffic's increased a little bit, kids and buses. What do you remember about, Jeff, your first days back to school?
One of the most outstanding, it was middle school, and we all arrived to school. There was a computer glitch, so some people had lunch for 4 hours, some people had French for 15 minutes. So they shut the school down for a week. So it caused much consternation among the parents, but much exuberance among the student body.
Now, hold on a second. You went to school in the computer era? Are you kidding
Well,
me?
you know, it was the, hunt and peck, you put
Oh,
little
okay.
dots in the computer and you feed it into the machine.
All right,
Yeah,
Michelle?
it was an abacus tied to a.
Abacus
Yeah.
tied to it. Michelle doesn't
Right.
understand that. You have a favorite memory of going back to school?
I like going shopping. So I would go shopping before school.
Go back
get new
to
clothes.
school, and you're really into shopping.
Yes.
I mean, you're
I
into.
still practice that to this day.
You do practice it, and you should check out Michelle. She's got her own blog, and she does all that and stuff on fashion and accessories and all that kind of thing. So we're very excited about that. Jeff, you wanted to do a couple things real quickly here before we wind up.
Well, just was wondering if anybody could tell us about how many copies of the War Cry are distributed each year. Anybody have a guess?
We have prizes.
We do have prizes, so don't be hesitant.
10 million, 20 million, 100 million.
Wow, that's what we're aiming. We're aiming for that.
Security. No.
Okay, who
not
said
quite.
10 million?
10 million. That man right there.
Okay, that man gets a prize. It's not quite that. It's not quite that, but you're the closest to it. 33,500,000 approximately.
3.5 million. Very good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. We're glad you were not asleep, sir.
And the other question we have is, and we'll get you the prize.
Take the quiz.
How many, who can name Colonel Foley's new appointment effective November 1? The full title.
The full title.
The full title.
I can't even name
1,
it.
2, 3. Nobody. Okay. What is that again?
National Program Secretary and Editor-in-Chief.
Very good.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
there
thank
we
you for
go.
doing this podcast, by the way, Colonel.
Yeah, well-
it's a lot of fun, and it's great to bring people in, and we look forward to bringing people in from headquarters to our podcast as well.
We really do. We're very excited about our podcast, and we hope everybody here on NHQ staff would download us, give us a listen. We kind of are keeping it to an hour, and we're also bringing in guests, so it's not just us bantering about,
Oh yes, right.
blab.
As good as
blab
that
about.
is.
Yeah, no, I know it's
You're
good.
right.
We're very good. A few people appreciate our work.
Yes,
A
well,
couple people. We have to
right.
pay them.
I have some
but
relatives.
that's all right. You have some relatives. What are some of the things coming up? Just to kind of wrap up our time here, we've just finished Christmas, the Christmas War Cry. That's on its way to the printers.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
What are some of the things in that?
Well, we
People know?
have, if you're feeling small, we have an article about how the smallness of Christmas can reinforce what we do in our everyday lives as followers of Christ.
Michelle.
And of course, we have the General's article and other inspirational material and a movie quiz. And that we also produce a Spanish version and a large print version of that magazine.
which is really good. Large
Yeah.
print is really, really good. Michelle, what are you working on in some of the center issues coming up?
For October, it's about travel. Just because, like, fun fact, millennials are the #1 generation who travel these days, and it's not because of Instagram. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, so just information about that.
Okay,
That's as far as I've gotten.
that's as far as
Yeah.
And Michelle's also finding influencers who will be interviewing in the future. And we have a Mr. Rogers interview coming up to coincide with that movie. A woman wrote a book about his simple faith.
Yeah,
We look
Amy
forward to doing that.
Hollingsworth
Yeah.
was real good. So we're kind of working on some of that sort of stuff. We're a real strong team in publications, and we're only going to get stronger as the program and publications departments merge together. A lot of great, talented men and women who love God and who love their art and their craft, and helping us get the word out. So we're going to end this very short and very special episode of Fight for Good podcast. We want to be sure to subscribe to Fight for Good wherever you listen to your podcast. And we also encourage you not to forget to follow the War Cry, thewarcry.org. We are on Instagram, on Facebook, on and on Pinterest. And we also want to say our Peer magazine, we want to give you a shout out for you to make sure you're reading. And it's very exciting what's going on with our magazine for the up and coming generation. So we are, just to wrap it up, we are launching, right, Elizabeth, this morning or right after lunch. We're episode number 2 will be up, and hopefully iTunes is working real soon so that we can just download it from there. Well, with that, I am Colonel Tim.
I am Jeff McDonald.
I'm Michele Katsaris.
And we'll see you next time on Fight for Good.
Subscribe to Fight for Good wherever you listen to podcasts.